All right, everybody, welcome back. We love to take your questions and do a deep dive, and one that's been popping up a lot lately is all about financial advisors.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when do you actually need one?
Right.
What can they do for you that you couldn't just like Google or DIY somehow?
Yeah.
So we found this really cool podcast episode all about it, and we're going to break down the insights and hopefully give you some clarity on if a financial advisor is right for you.
Absolutely.
So to kick things off, this podcast we found had this analogy that I thought was pretty interesting. They said, think of a financial advisor like a GPS for your money.
That's a good way to put it, I think.
Yeah.
GPS helps you navigate towards a destination. You plug in where you're trying to go, and it tells you how to get there, and it helps you avoid obstacles along the way, right?
Right.
So similarly, a financial advisor can help you define your financial goals and figure out how to actually achieve them. But I think they do a lot more than just point you in the right direction.
Okay, so it's more than just picking stocks for you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
This podcast mentioned all sorts of things like budgeting, retirement planning, estate planning. Do people really understand the breadth of what a financial advisor can help with?
I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there. I think a lot of people think financial advisors are only for the ultra wealthy.
Right.
When in reality, they can be valuable for anyone regardless of income level.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Take budgeting, for example. It can be a huge pain point for so many people.
Oh, totally.
But an advisor can help you implement strategies that actually work, like the 50-30-20 rule. Have you heard of that one?
Oh, yeah. 50% of your income goes towards your needs, 30% to your wants, and then 20% towards savings and paying off any debt you have.
Exactly. And having someone to help you set that up and actually stick to it can make a huge difference.
Makes it way more concrete than just saying oh, they help with budgeting.
Right.
So this podcast also mentions some key life events when an advisor can be especially helpful.
Oh, for sure.
Things like getting married, having kids, starting a business, approaching retirement. These are all huge transitions.
Big changes, yeah. And a lot of times you're dealing with way more financial complexity than you're used to.
Right.
So let's say you're about to have a baby. Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks.
That's so exciting. But suddenly you've got all these new financial things to think about.
Yeah.
Like saving for college, 529 plans.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Figuring out life insurance, maybe adjusting your budget to accommodate for childcare costs. It can feel overwhelming.
Totally.
But a financial advisor can walk you through all of it, help you make smart decisions that set you up for success.
Okay, so those are situations that make a lot of sense to bring in an advisor. But what about someone who's pretty comfortable with personal finance? They're good at budgeting. They feel like they have a decent grasp on investing. Do they still need a financial advisor?
Not necessarily. If you're already pretty financially savvy, you might be fine managing your own money. But even then, an advisor can be valuable, like a sounding board for major decisions. Let's say you're thinking about buying a house or planning for an early retirement.
Huge decisions, yeah.
Talking it through with an expert can help you avoid costly mistakes and maybe even uncover opportunities that you didn't even know existed.
Yeah, it's like having someone in your corner who's seen it all before.
Exactly. And they can offer an objective perspective, which can be really helpful when you're making big financial decisions.
Right, because you're probably emotionally invested and you might not see things as clearly.
Totally. Think of it like a financial checkup. Just like you see a doctor for preventive care consulting, an advisor periodically can help you stay on track, identify any potential blind spots you might have.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening and they're like, okay, I'm sold. I think I want to find a financial advisor. Where do they even start? What are the key things they should be looking for?
Great question. So first off, this podcast we found talked a lot about fee-only advisors.
Oh, yeah, that's a term I've heard, but I'm not sure I fully understand what it means.
So fee-only basically means that the advisor's compensation is based solely on the fees they charge for their services, not on commissions from selling you certain financial products.
So it's not like they're getting a kickback from recommending a specific mutual fund or something like that.
Exactly. That's the idea. It helps avoid conflicts of interest and ensures the advisor's recommendations are actually aligned with your best interests.
Okay, that makes total sense. But even within a fee-only structure, how can you be sure an advisor is truly unbiased? What else should someone be looking for?
Yeah, good point. So there are certain credentials you can look out for, like certified financial planner or CFT,
Okay.
or Chartered Financial Analyst, CFA, these designations indicate that the advisor has undergone rigorous training and adheres to high ethical standards.
That makes sense.
It's also smart to consider their experience in areas of specialization, like do they work primarily with young families, retirees, entrepreneurs?
So you want to find someone who understands your specific situation.
Right, exactly. And I think just as important as all of that is finding someone you actually connect with.
Yeah,
Financial planning is a very personal process. You need to feel comfortable sharing your financial goals, your concerns, even your dreams with this person.
totally.
So pay attention to their communication style. Do they explain things in a way that you understand? Do you feel like you can ask them anything without feeling judged?
It's almost like finding a therapist in a way.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want someone who you trust and who gets you.
So much good stuff to think about. It sounds like financial advisors can be an incredible resource, but knowing when and why you need one is key.
Couldn't agree more.
So as we wrap up today's deep dive, I want to leave you with a question to ponder or find. What's one financial goal you feel super confident tackling on your own? And what's one area where you might actually benefit from an advisor's perspective?
It's a great question to ask yourself. And remember, taking control of your finances is a journey.
It is.
And sometimes having a knowledgeable guide can make all the difference.
That's so true. Thanks for diving in with us today.
Absolutely my pleasure.
And to all of you listening, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Bye, everyone.
If this podcast helped you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us keep making these videos. Thanks for watching.